you the possibility of you giving him money to record a tape?
I would say a couple of weeks before the meeting with Anthony.
And he approached you, is that correct?
Yeah.
And what did he tell you about what he hoped would happen as a result of your investment?
Well, basically, there was that one song that he really liked a lot, which is My Cousin Joanne, and we just believed that would be a big hit. That if somebody like Bob Dylan would sing that song, that would be like a big hit. And that was, that's what got me interested.
And then your wife told you that, yes, in fact,
Bob Dylan is
superstar.
a big, yes.
Gentlemen, could you possibly speak one at a time?
Okay.
So we don't have to do this twice.
So in effect, Mr. Damiano asked you to invest $10,000 in his recording project.
Yes.
If you knew right now that Mr. Damiano had a $200,000 CD and was living high in the hog, you'd call him up and you'd say,
from what I remember,
what about my $10,000? Correct?
If he didn't give it to me. But from what I remember about Jim, if he has the money, he will give it to me.
And in fact, the $10,000 investment, which you made in 1987, if you compound interest and do all, and when he told you that nothing was being done, is it fair to say that you became, at times, somewhat annoyed at the situation?
Yeah, I wasn't happy about it.
And what, if anything, did you say to Mr. Damiano about the failure of him to turn that investment into any profit for you?
I didn't make a case of it. All I remember is just talking to Jim Damiano about it. Just stay with it. Just don't give up. Keep trying. That's things in that nature, In my mind, you gotta understand, I didn't see Jim doing anything wrong. I think he produced a good record. I liked it. My wife liked it. It was a good music. I still got a few tapes. I know I give some to my friends, and everybody liked it. We did nothing wrong as far as that. The bad part of it is that I'm the one that spent the money on it, and I didn't get anything back. But I was convinced that this was a good decision, and at the same time that the tape came out very good. So he didn't do anything wrong. I wasn't mad at him. I was mad at myself.
Well, sir, you said you didn't believe him and his claims about Bob Dylan, listening to his music when you were in the car dealership before your meeting with Tony Tiller. Yes. That was your testimony, correct?
Yes.
After the meeting, and after it became clear that your $10,000 was going down the drain, isn't it fair to say that your feelings of disbelief began to reemerge?
Not after the meeting, after the tape, after 2-3 weeks after the tape was done. After the meeting, I was very excited.
We're going to get to the meeting in a minute and your excitement. I'm now taking you after this meeting. There came a time when it was clear that your $10,000 investment was going down
the drain. That sunk in.
You got your American Express Platinum bill.
Mm-hmm.
Wham! $10,000.
You have to pay it all at once.
So every month you're reminded about this $10,000 investment that had gone down the drain. And my question to you, sir, is...
Was that a question, or was that just a color commentary about every month?
Is that correct?
Well, not me. Maybe my wife. She pays the bills, but I just put it out of my mind. But yes, I could see what you're saying, though, but it wasn't me personally. I don't see.
You were aware, sir, month to month, that you had to pay the interest or whatever it is on the $10,000?
Yes, I was.
And my question to you, sir, is that after those 3 weeks, and after you started paying monthly the $10,000, your feelings of disbelief about Mr. Damiano's claims of having some connection to Bob Dylan began to resurface.
Are you asking him that? Or
I'm asking him.
Okay. Well, if you want an answer for that, I'll give you an answer. I don't think that Jim was the one that made me give me that disbelief. It was Anthony. I think Jim was just maybe lied to like I was. That's how I perceived it. I took him for a victim just as much as myself. Okay. If there was no connections to Mr. Dylan, it wasn't because of what he said to me. It was because of what Anthony said to me.
Okay, I understand that, and we'll get to that in a minute. I'm not asking about Mad now. I'm asking about not believing, not because Mr. Damiano was lying to you or not lying to you, but not believing the claim that Mr. Damiano had some connection to Bob Dylan. My question to you, sir, is whether after those 3 weeks, those feelings of disbelief resurfaced.
Yes, it did resurface. And I also had second thoughts about maybe that just the whole thing was a scam, okay? Or the whole thing was a scam, or also that this music just got stolen from us. It basically just went the way they wanted to go. We paid the money and something else will happen to it. I mean, a million things will go through your head to justify it. But at the time, yes, I was upset. And the bottom line is we lost track of each other after that for a few years, and I just forgot about it.
My specific question is whether after those 3 weeks, you again disbelieved. Let me rephrase it. After those 3 weeks, you again believed that Mr. Damiano really didn't have any way to get his music to Bob Dylan.
No, I never disbelieved that, because I know what I heard. My wife disbelieved that. My wife told me the whole thing was a lie. I never disbelieved that part. I believed that this music was going to Bob Dylan. I know I believed that in my heart, and I still believe it till now. Now, maybe.
Brian, can we take a half a second?
That I thought about. But also I believed, after a while that Jim, there's no possible way that Jim could have been part of that scam, because we stayed, he stayed working for me for a while after that, and I learned more about what he was going through, and it wasn't really his fault, it was my fault.
But when you said a scam, what was the specific scam that you thought might have been a possibility?
Yeah.
What kind of scam?
That scam would be something like him and Anthony got together and made me believe that could have been a scam, but now I know better. Well, because of my relationship afterwards.
Sir, so the scam that you thought might be a possibility is that Mr. Damiano wanting your 10 grand and got together with Mr. Tiller to lie to you about alleged connections with Bob Dylan to get you to invest the $10,000. Is that the scam that...
It would have been a good scam if it was done that way, but they didn't want the money. I didn't pay them any money. The money was paid to the record company. He wanted to record a record, and that's, that's all he wanted is his song produced.
The record company... You didn't pay any money to Sony or CBS. The money you paid went to the recording studio.
To the recording studio.
My question to you, sir, is one of the things that crossed your mind 3 or 4 weeks after this meeting was that in order to get you to pay the 10 grand, Mr. Tiller and Mr. Damiano may have lied to you about their alleged connections with Bob Dylan to get you to pay the 10 grand. Is that the scam that crossed your mind?
That's one of the thoughts that came to my mind to justify what I did to myself, but I know it's not true.
Well, you know it's not true. How do you know it's not true?
I know it's not true because of my continuous relationship with Jim.
Well, sir, you have no idea, do you, as you sit here today, whether in fact Mr. Tiller has any contact or ever had any contact whatsoever with Mr. Dylan. Is that correct?
I don't know for sure. No.
You have no way of knowing that one way or another. Is that correct?
No,
other than the fact that Tiller told him?
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Based on what he told me, he does. Now, I don't know if he really does or not, but based on
whatsoever with Mr. Dylan. Is that correct?
I don't know for sure. No.
You have no way of knowing that one way or another. Is that correct?
No,
other than the fact that Tiller told him?
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Based on what he told me, he does. Now, I don't know if he really does or not, but based on his words, he does.
But you know that the record went nowhere.
I don't know that.